Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to respond to, once again, to the Zach George supporting a recognized terrorist organization, Hamas, Hezbollah, by way of, again, some recent posts. Now, again, I talk about the state of the dog training world and find it very interesting, to say the least, that these same individuals who are very popular, okay, on social media in the dog training world, have millions of followers, and suddenly, again, or seems suddenly, that the ideological mask is really starting to slip, by way again of coming out and kind of totally, like, seemingly losing the plot, so to speak, by way again of who they support, some of the statements they've made, again bringing this kind of woke ideology in, and now with statements about supporting Hamas, trying to bring certain things in to basically say this all kind of fits together within the framework of this idea of things, and unbelievable. But again, my point being is that when the truth is subjective, okay, anything goes. And again, I've been saying this since the beginning in terms of what defines a process. I talk about the big lie that balanced and force-free trainers have come into agreement with within the dog training world, that training is a learning-based exercise. I talk about the two core ingredients, influence and control, by way of both revealing but also change. And recognizing that once you embrace a lie, there's consequences, okay? And you're seeing all those consequences bearing out, things escalate in the dog training world. And so again, people shouldn't be surprised, at least the people who are stepping back and asking the questions that none of these trainers ever asked. And so you're seeing all this escalation, you're seeing all these things happening. And again, I connect the dots. Now, here's the thing. Again, the last video I put out on Zach George, I actually removed it because I get to a point where I don't even want to hear his voice. I don't even want to, comment that way with using one of his videos. This stuff is so just completely sideways. But here's the other point I want to make on this video, because this is another example of this by way of Black Kraken Canine, who's a balanced dog trainer, one of the individuals of that organization, who actually posted this stuff on Zach George and Hamas. And the point I want to make about it is a video that they put up on his Facebook page, where he's trying to make a connection here, trying to equate Zach George's support of a terrorist organization with, by way of balanced dog trainers using adversive tools, and basically saying, well, look at this individual, kind of like, how dare someone like this who supports Hamas even challenge balanced dog trainers' use of adversives. Like, what type of person is this? And while I can agree on this individual, Zach George, absolutely, to support a terrorist organization, he's kind of like unbelievable. But to go try to take that further and kind of paint that brush to say, well, this individual is a type of person, like, kind of like, how dare they even try to push back on our use of adversives. Absolutely, you can't make that connection. In fact, the interesting thing is that this is another illustration, example of balanced dog trainers who are trying to find some way to kind of shut down being challenged by way of them using certain tools, adversives. And again, I talk about how it is balanced dog trainers, based on what they've come into agreement with, they're compromised. Okay, they're compromised, and this is why they're losing their tools, but compromised based on this idea of things. But what they're trying to do, because they have already come into agreement with this ideology, is they're trying, and you'll see this on other videos I've done, where they try to take certain situations with trainers at a personal level, and trying to kind of bring in and try to shut down the conversation. This is where I even get into, right, an example by way of, Ivan Balanoff with a copyright strike on a video I put out, where I'm actually very specific in terms of the information as to what the source of the problem is. And Balanced Dog Training is trying to censor me, okay, because that's the whole point of everything, to say, well, when you get specific as to what the real problem is in the dog training world, that's a conversation that Balanced Dog Trainers, they don't want to have. But if they look towards someone like Zach George, say, oh, look, this thing with Hamas, I'm going to go after this guy. And don't get me wrong, you should call out someone like that on a personal level to say, well, this is absolutely wrong. But then to try to, connect another dot there, no, okay? I talk about, here's the real problem. So, the point of everything is to say the dog training world is in the state that it's in. Zach George and others, well, that's the other point. Well, the truth is subjective. This is why you're seeing all this stuff happening, all these, other narratives coming in. And I put the blame of this down at the feet of a lot of these Balanced Dog Trainers who are confused, they're compromised, and they've played the game. They played both sides of the fence like Zach George from the beginning. And meanwhile, the collateral damage of this ideology, you look at all the blame shifting on the dogs, look at all the bad stuff happening. Well, I connect the dots properly, okay? Beyond balanced dog trainers who don't want to do it. Because to do so puts them in the same position as someone like Zach George, as to actually have to face off on what the real problem is. And so understand that balanced dog trainers and forestry trainers, they're all in agreement, okay, with this inherently problematic idea of things. This is the source of the problem. I talk about it. But I'll say we get into this whole thing about these trainers with their individual ideas or individual agendas, and they're supporting terrorist organizations. Well, look at the state of the dog training world. I mean, just look at it. This is where we're at. Thanks for watching.